We'll call this special meeting of the Stanley City Council to order. Please note we have an agenda with all council members here except one. The meetings are recorded, so if you wish to address the council, please come up and use the mic. With that, we'll jump into, we have one item on the agenda, and that's EDC applications. I'll let Steve take over.
Okay. I assume you all probably got the email, and so I'd just be happy to answer any questions. I might want to just kind of touch on a couple things that the first one I had listed there was Diane Hellman, and she requested to have her agreement modified, and she's been very helpful and is concerned about the daycare situation, but she is winding things down. And so she does have a facility, and we've talked to some of the other daycare providers, and we're trying to, solve a problem that just keeps coming up and keeps coming up. So we did kind of make a recommendation that we forgive $3,000 of her, what she has balance there, and then she will pay the other $3,000 on June of 2022. Kind of for a variety of reasons. She is helping. She's, been upfront about that. We have funded at least 3 other daycares. So in the interest of fairness, we're, making a recommendation that, we enter those terms for her.
So the end result then would be, I think we borrowed 12,000 a limb, correct?
Yes.
And she's paid back 3,000, so it'd be 50% grant, 50% loan then.
Well, I think, am I mistaken? She's paid the 6 back, and
Well, she called it 6, but I think the check was for 3, right?
No, the check was for 6,000.
Okay, so she's actually would be paying back 75% of the loan.
yeah, that would be
Okay.
my understanding.
Okay?
I don't know what to tell you about daycare. It's so difficult, try to get people pulled together. They're, some of them don't want to step up to the next levels. It's difficult. We do probably need one more big enough facility to handle, more than 3 kids or 6 kids or whatever. Maybe something will come of this. I don't know, but I kind of know that none of us probably want to be in the daycare business here. So you hope
Okay.
the individual providers get it worked out and step up to the plate themselves. So like I said, we funded at least 3 others, for
Okay.
getting them going, stepping up, or going to the next level, or remodeling something or whatever. So I guess that's going to be a work in progress there. So.
So this loan would not change at all from the original then, because she had a 25% grant, right, at the time? Or not?
So when it was approved that she get a 25% forgiveness.
Yep.
On the loan.
And she's paid 6,000?
She's paid 6,000.
Okay. So this, what you guys are recommending is basically what she
It is,
originally applied
except,
for?
she's not out to the full term, but,
Yeah. Okay.
she's close to the full term. So in the interest of fairness and helping the others, yeah. Just
Okay. Any
kind of a-
questions or comments on this one?
So she'd be paying the, per se, final payment of 3,000 in June of 2022?
That would have been the full term of it, and then it would have been forgiven anyway, so. So she's
So we're basically asking her, for the forgiveness to be a little earlier.
Yeah, to take effect now. And, you know, she's 8 months short of that time, I
Yeah.
guess, so.
Any other comments? What are the wishes of the council?
I guess I'd make a motion to approve for the daycare.
The recommendation of the,
Yes, the
Committee?
recommendation
Okay.
of the EDC.
is there a second?
One second.
Second by Zach. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Jake,
Abstain.
Zach?
Aye.
Ty?
No.
Linda?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, the second item is kind of a combination of things there. I know we presented and on the new cafe venture, and then it was modified somewhat, so we had to revisit that because we are also at the same time working on the other two that are past due. It just kind of became a struggle here to figure out what's equitable, and they're all on the same 2 blocks on Main Street. They're all in the same business. They're all basically competitors, even though they have different, you know, venues. So I guess it's either to restructure all of them or move the 2 that are past due to the same terms that are offered to the new one. And I guess that's our recommendation, is that the other would have to carry the same terms, and we're asking for the stipulation to be added on to the Wilson Park, the new venture, that we need 5 years out of them. Otherwise, it would be prorated out. And that, you know, I think on anything we do, we either need to try to recover some of the money or have at least some assurance that people understand that we need to get to the term of what, you know, what the money was expended for. So that's our recommendation on this. I guess I just kind of at the end there, I added a couple things about, I mean, you certainly don't mind if, you know, if you have to do it or something has to be, you know, acted on right away. But I think if there are modifications or changes, I think it just might be easier on the council and on our committee to just table it. I realize some things have a time issue attached to them, but it seems like most of the time when you rush through something, there's a mistake made, or, you know, not enough due diligence was placed on something. And I just think that would work better. In this case, that would have probably helped us because we were kind of asking for financials and trying to get a little more information on the other 2. But you know, we've always kind of tried to look at competing businesses, treating everybody as fair and equitable as we can. So our recommendation on this one is kind of before you there, that we would recommend the other 2 receive the same terms as her. Those have been from, I believe, 2020, June, or probably April of 2020. So they've already run almost 2 years. And so there would be 3 more years of, you know, they need to fulfill that or do the payback on that amount. So.
And I guess I like that idea of sending it back to you. And if it's time sensitive, we might have to have special meetings, which we don't like to have, but if there is, you know, a time frame or something, but so that
You
we're
know,
all on the same
Like I
page.
said, I mean, it certainly doesn't bother any of us that are on there, but it's oftentimes we've already discussed some other things with them or had them come in and sat down and asked some extra questions or whatever. And that information probably is not conveyed to you till the evening when you gotta make the decision. So it just, might be better to send it back and have it reviewed again, so. Or changed or modified or whatever, so.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was pretty short-sighted on council's behalf to just change the rules right there at the last meeting, so I'm glad that we're having the conversation again. I guess, so just a clarification. So we're recommending 5 years prorated, where it doesn't mean we're gonna front load the money. It means like spread out over 5 equal
Well,
increments.
the other two have already been, and that was the agreement with Wilson Park one, that, yeah, it's upfront, and then it's, a 5-year commitment there.
The payback would be 20% a year forgiven every year they're open.
Right,
Do I understand it?
correct.
Because I think what scares me, and I know, I don't necessarily like the idea of a loan either. I like people to give people the money to do what they can. But what always scares me about if you front load something and then say, all right, well, they got 5 years to pay it back, and I'm just gonna use easy numbers. They've got 20K and they got 5 years to pay it back. Well, if they tank, what's our surety of getting that back? I know we have to have some risk. We're in my head, and I'm not on committee, so I'm not trying to trample on committee's recommendations. I'm just trying to see if we can all kind of come to consensus, because obviously everybody has their own different way of thinking about these things. But in my head, say we did $20,000 just for example, over 5 years. To me, something that would give me that surety of having a loan, but not also giving it all once. Why not front load the first payment? Second year, at the end of that year, make it middle of December, give them the next installment. So that way, if they do go insolvent, we haven't already paid them that money and we're trying to figure out how to get it back. Or you're trying to basically kneecap somebody that's down and out, where business washed up. Where to me, like, that would kind of really separate your risk. Year after year, you don't pay, it is a grant, but their surety on it is they have to stay open each year at a time. That way they get, and I don't know if that messes it up as far as that, but we haven't front loaded 20K versus now we're out 5K. They made it, second year, now you give them 10K. Now, if they make it February 3rd year, we're not on the hook to give them that next 5K because they're part of the deal. They weren't open. That's where, like, to me, it seems if you're not going to do an interest buy down, it seems clean. It seems safer for us because we're still gambling. We're still putting money into it. You just haven't front loaded it. And now it's not going to be an issue trying to recoup that if they go, insolvent after 3 years. So that's just where my head is going. Doesn't mean anybody has to agree. That's just the way I envision something that is fair and also still not just handing the cash out and hoping for the best, which I know we kind of do. You do it for each year installment and you're hoping for the best, but that's just in my head how it would work. Would be cleaner, it'd be more palatable for me to versus just giving them 20K and, oh, you got 5 years to pay us back. And if you stay open that long, great, same end result. It was perfect. They never paid us back. They made it to the 3rd year and they went under. What's our surety for going back? Are we going to go all of a sudden try to lean up a building that they may or may not own? You know what I mean? It just gets messy.
I agree with you completely that where the problem starts is typically what they apply for is what they need to make it happen. And so they're never going to get out the door if you just,
Right.
guarantee the 26 and give them only 5. It's just, it's not going to get done. So, and I guess, all you can do is have them sign a note, which, we have been doing. And fortunately we haven't had to see an attorney about it, but that day will come. So.
Yeah, I guess I agree with you too, except on their case, it's so they can get started.
Yeah.
And on the other two, we've already gave them the money. We're trying to get it back. So, but moving forward, that would be the interest buy down is the best one of all.
Yeah, it
But-
is. And I mean, we kind of looked at, we don't want to be in the banking business, but, on the other hand, these people want to start businesses here. They're going to pay sales tax. They're going to hire employees. They're going to have to. So, you got to weigh the risk of keeping doors open and making it work, so.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I guess I don't like bunching these three into one. If you do it for this one, we're gonna do it for the other two that have already got the money and now they don't want to pay the money back. They want it completely forgiven. I mean, I know they're trying to get going. So like I said, I don't like bunching these three together because, you know, Rustic Bean, they want to extend it out, you know, have more time. Great for them. And they provided financials.
No,
Wilson Park.
They didn't
Takeaway.
really, they just said,
No, they gave us a 2.5 line email that said we want half or all of it forgiven.
That was from their previous request, so I just kind of made copies of everything I've had from the start when they first initially submitted their applications.
But we still haven't seen any financials from them, have we?
no, and I mean, we were in the
So like I
process of
said,
asking
I
for
don't like
that.
grouping these three together. They're trying to get started. I'm with them. But like I said, I'm not gonna vote yes on all three.
I
You know
think
what
it'd be
mean.
better if we did them separately anyways.
Well, yeah, because,
And we
you know,
can-
you've got people out there that aren't even in business and are still paying back their loan because they signed a promissory note. They signed a promissory note. And instead of making a payment, they took a trip somewhere. And Rustic Bean, like I said, had financials. They showed a loss. So I'm all for extending them. But I would extend on Joyce's as well, but at least make an attempt. Not a 2.5 line email and no financials to prove it. But, and like I said, you've got Rita's Boutique. She's been paying back. She got 40,000 and what she's got left to pay is 15,900. That business is no longer in business, but she's still paying it back because she signed a note.
So let's do these one at a time then. And the second one on your committee thing was you're recommending to change the terms for the Wilson Park Takeaway Cafe to include a 5-year upfront prorated grant stipulation.
Correct.
Which would be just a forgiveness of 20% each year.
Correct.
So let's just do that one first. Comments or questions on that?
Mr. Mayor, I would make the motion to approve the committee recommendation.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Linda. Any further discussion?
So what is the amount on that one then?
26,000?
Correct.
So just clarification, this money is already paid upfront, 5 years, you know, so I mean, obviously there's, yes, we're risking it too.
Yep.
I gave you guys my spiel, what I would rather see.
This is basically what we did for Spring and Furniture because it was to help get the business going. It was to help with the down payment. So, any other comments? Call the roll.
Jake,
Aye.
Zach,
Aye.
Ty,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
David.
Okay, motion carried. So you gals are okay, good? Have you gotten the money? You ready to go?
We signed, we, close on Friday.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you guys.
okay,
Have a good evening.
Yeah, go get it.
okay. So let's move on to them last two then. We can table it and send it back to the committee, Steve.
Well, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we were in the process of, you know,
And-
asking for financials
Yep.
and, you know, that, then this came, but I mean, we're still gonna come back to this, you know, somewhat the same issue of, you know, um, they're gonna get it all if they stay open 5 years. The others are structured different, and that happens in the business world, you know, not everybody gets the same terms or the same price
Yeah.
for the building or the same interest rate. So it's just, you know, we don't have a problem with that. And in the end, I don't know that you're gonna hear too much different than what you already know, but I
Right.
mean, yeah, you should do due diligence on it. And I don't have a, problem with that.
Yeah.
It's still gonna come down to, trying to be somewhat equitable on, what kind of terms, because they're competing businesses, so.
I guess I would like to see, an extension. I would give them an extension. Like I said, Rustic Bean gave us financials. They showed they had a loss.
Yeah.
You got
well,
nothing
I didn't
from the other
realize that
ones.
you'd
So-
received those, and I know what you received from Joyce's.
So and that's actually what they asked for. What, 3 months ago, 4 months
The
ago?
Rustic
It was
Bean
for
one,
a
yeah.
extension.
Yeah.
I ain't got a problem with that. But I'm not gonna go with a 2.5 line email that wants the whole loan forgiven, and then you take a
We'll
trip.
send that one back to you, Steve.
Okay, that's fine.
I
Um,
have a question if I could. Does there need to be like a set of guidelines for like new startups and then existing businesses wanting more money or whatever? And then that's what you go by? Because it seems like there's a couple of different, like what you were saying.
Well, in the end, every one of them has to be,
Yeah.
decided on their merits. So to try to split out startup and the other,
Or just make them all the same, regulation.
well,
Like
trouble is it's never the same
Yeah.
Right.
issue or terms or business or amounts or anything, and yeah, as much as you'd like to have a cookie cutter answer, it's pretty much, they're all gonna be different, and you're gonna have to
And
decide
then
them
you
on their
can
own.
thank COVID for a couple of these.
Well, I mean, they,
Hopefully won't happen
nobody
again.
would like to be told that you got to cut your business in half and
Yep.
keep going, I mean, I realize that's probably, the bulk of their problem, but on the other hand, it's, they did sign the agreement, so we'll have to.
And I
You
mean,
know.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the mayor brought up, the last time this came in, wasn't there programs that they could have applied for? Did they?
Well, it's
I
kind of
don't
our,
know.
kind
We
of our
don't know.
understanding that, though, didn't have enough wage base and employee base to do that, but we didn't get to the point of determining that either, so.
Well, I know of a bar that applied and got it.
Yeah,
And I mean,
and
their
I mean,
wage base is probably.
that's something we'll have to find out. so,
Yeah,
you know.
so, I mean, there was programs out there as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'd hate to see 5 years down the road, still blaming COVID.
So the last one, Steve, you got down here about you'd like to find a grant writer. We've got a really good one over here.
I know we do, and, we have a couple pending applications, and one of them, we requested of them, have you applied for that? And so those will be coming up here before the end of the year, but I think that would be really important to be able to do that. I guess our feeling was when we met on a couple different times, we're not trying to load more on her plate. It was kind of our feeling, need to make it worth somebody's while to be able to do it too. So I don't know
So
kind of
it'd
an
be-
agreement you have for,
Well, and maybe she'd want to do it after hours for finder's fees. It'd be up to Joan. Uh-huh.
yes, we are.
The other one in the corner.
Yeah, you got to leave the room for a bit.
You guys don't know how many things I already do.
Yeah.
I don't think I have time to actually do it unless I would step down from something else. I love writing grants, I would be glad to help, but then Elaine would probably be on the other side.
Right.
Yes, please don't make her leave the
That's what I was
city.
wondering if you wanted to do it in the evenings, you know, for,
I pretty much do stuff every evening in my office
okay.
already.
Well, and if you know of somebody else that would be interested too, I mean, that's a good idea.
You know, maybe Don Munger, he's a great, I don't know. if
Yeah.
he would be interested, but he's a great grant writer.
That's an idea too.
You know, maybe he wants.
I don't think what you see coming across from the city is probably a lot different than what, you know, than these issues that are coming up. So I don't think there's, you know, a whole different spectrum of things. And so, I mean, you're probably looking through all of them anyway.
I know the county actually went with, like on their JDA, they went with Service Based Planning, and that would be a great person to contract with, Service Based Planning, because they have a hands-on on all the grants that are available
Mhm.
for, and I know Linda can probably, explain a little better, she's on the JDA, but I know they actually use them for some of their stuff now, so. And they have.
Yeah, we actually just signed on to them.
What's that?
We just signed on to them not too long ago.
Yep, you did. The JDA did. I'm not on the committee, but I do know you did. So, you know, looking at Service Basin possibly, because they might be expanding, that'd be a great resource right there.
Yep. Just so you guys would have an avenue to say, check with these people first.
Yeah, and I mean,
Well, they're great for assisting on startups, so it would be well worth their money to actually check with Service Basin. And maybe they can hire more on through them if they have contracts with other entities that can help them.
So is that the one Amanda's on?
Not anymore, I was. Yeah, we put Newtown City because Stanley.
Oh, okay.
didn't really need
Okay.
that. Stanley doesn't meet a lot of the requirements. I mean,
I loved being on it, but Stanley wasn't meeting a lot of the requirements for like low income and things like that. So Newtown is a way better fit for that. But Service Based and Planning Council is an excellent, excellent business. They have a full staff. They do grants. They do all kinds of things. And they're all really, really easy to deal with.
she would be easier to deal with.
Yeah.
But here's the thing,
where
honestly,
she
if Joan
lives.
wasn't able to do it, Service Based and Planning Council, I would do it in a heartbeat if I was you for them. They're wonderful.
Okay. Well, it's definitely something to explore.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
A year after the election. Then I'll let you know.
Well,
Okay.
keep it open.
Okay.
Um,
Anything else, Steve?
No, that was pretty much it. So we'll get after those two, and like we do have two other ones pending. So that's pretty much what I see before the end of the year here, before the budget time. So
Okay. You'll be
So-
back.
thanks for cutting up your
Okay.
day, and
Oh, thank you.
we'll get
With
back
that-
with you. I don't know if we're gonna get that done before the next meeting, which is not very far away, but
Yeah, if you can get the stuff to Lynn by the Friday before, then we get it in the packet. It makes it a lot less of a surprise.
it's not always us.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
He's like,